Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Raspberry Reads. I'm doing a recommendations video for you today, and this is a new topic that I have not covered before. So I'm going to be sharing with you some children's book recommendations. I know, right? Exciting. So I've been mum for less than 2 years now through adoption. And I've got some, pearls of wisdom to share with you if you've got a little one in your life. And some of these books are books that I know that my daughter really enjoys or did really enjoy. And some of them are books that I really enjoyed reading to her. So the first book that I wanted to share with you is called The Invisible String. This is written by Patrice Karst, illustrated by Joanne Lou Vrietoff. And The Invisible String is really good for children who struggle with separation anxiety. Basically, the idea of this book is that you and the little one in your life are always connected by this invisible string. So they know that you're always thinking about them and that they will never be forgotten. And, I think this is quite a sweet book. It's got some good illustrations in it, but this is one that my daughter really connects to, and when she is having a bit of a wobble, she does refer to the invisible string. So I know that this book has stuck with her. So yeah, as I say, it's more of like a tool or like an educational book recommendation. The story's lovely, but it's more of a useful tool for you and the little one in your life. A second book that I love and my daughter loves as well is And Tango Makes Three. And this is by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, illustrated by Henry Cole. So And Tango Makes Three is based on a real story at the New York Zoo about two male penguins who love each other and end up adopting an egg. And it is just the sweetest story. It's really good for diversity and representation. I know that this is often on curriculums for children. And again, beautiful illustrations, a really sweet story. It's good for parents to help explain if you've got different family dynamics like we do. So yeah, very much would recommend, and it is beloved by all of us in our house. The third book that is, again, more of like a tool book is Have You Filled Your Bucket Today? This is A Guide to Daily Happiness for Kids by McCloud, illustrated by David Messing. So I'm going to be honest and say that I've only read this to my daughter once, and I think Lucy's read it a few times, but it stuck with her. And it's the whole concept is not to fill people's buckets with good things and not empty their buckets by doing bad things. So you always want to be a bucket filler. So it says, you love your mom and dad, why not tell them you love them? You could even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets with joy. And this book has been helpful for explaining feelings. So here's a good example of, when you have a full bucket, you feel content and happy, but if your bucket's empty, you feel sad. So great for explaining feelings to little ones. Great for explaining empathy and also things like telling the truth. I found that this book was quite helpful. So again, I only read it once to my little one, but it stuck and she refers to it. So I know that it's obviously worked if she refers to buckets. So we obviously have a strange household that is all about penguins and string and buckets, but whatever works, works. So yes, another book to check out. And then the last book that I wanted to recommend on behalf of my daughter is one that I love to hate to love. And this is Fox and Socks by Dr Seuss. So this is a well-known author, but I had not heard of Fox and Socks until we were given this book when my daughter came to live with us. I had read, like Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, The Grinch, those types of things, but not this one. And this one it's like my daughter knew that when I was tired, the last thing I wanted to do was read an entire book that rhymes. This is a tongue twister book. So much like Dr. Seuss's other books, it's all like rhyming things, but you have to kind of read it at pace, and things like who sews crow's clothes? Sue sews crow's clothes. Slow Joe Crow sews whose clothes? Sue's clothes. And it's quite fun to read to kids, but also infuriating. So yeah, this is one of my daughter's favorite books. I had to read it to her lots, and then now she reads it to herself. Moving on to some of the books that I love reading. I love reading just in general, and I love reading to my daughter. Tattybogle is by Sandra Horn and Ken Brown. So this is another book that we were given when my daughter came to live with us. And this is from the 90s. And so Tattybogle is a scarecrow, and it just shows him through the seasons, and it's such a beautiful, like, whimsical book. So there he is, like, looking at the sky, gorgeous illustrations. And Tattybogle ends up, let's see if I can find the page. Where is it? Yeah, Tattybogle ends up blowing away in a storm. And then using his branches, he's rebuilt. And I just love this, so Tattybogle ends up becoming the tree. And then there's a new scarecrow, and it talks, I guess the point of it is it talks a lot about sort of like life cycles, life and death, and sort of regeneration and things not being forgotten, and like lack of permanence, but still a memory type of situation. Anyways, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I quite like Tattybogle. I get this book out every autumn, because even though it's through the seasons, I feel like it's particularly autumnal. Right, moving on. Another author that I wanted to recommend is Emma Dodd. So Emma Dodd has quite a few books. So these ones, I wanted to pick books that you might not have heard of. I think if you're a parent, you probably will have heard of Emma Dodd, but two in particular, I think are really good for kids who are struggling with attachment, is I Believe in Me and Spread Your Wings. And these books were very much about like reassurance and encouraging your child to make their own choices, not be afraid to kind of take that leap and distance themselves. So it's really good for kids who are going into maybe like nursery for the first time, reception, or if they've had a big change in their life where they need that bit of support. Is very empathetic messaging, and they have like holographic images on them. So if you've got a kid who likes sparkly things, then they will engage with the book. So those ones are for slightly younger kids, but it worked for my daughter when she first came to live with us. Also, I've got Jess Gets Her Wings, and apologies, I don't have the name of the author or illustrator, so I'll have to pop that up on the screen. But I read this book to my daughter when we were visiting the library, so I've only read it once, but it's really stuck with me, and it's about this fairy who needs to basically do like driver's ed training and take her driver's test in order to graduate to get her wings to be able to fly on her own. It was such a clever idea, and it was really funny. Beautiful illustrations, and it talked a lot about like determination and perseverance, and if at first you don't succeed, try again type of moral to the story. And yeah, I just really liked it, and would recommend if you've got a child who maybe struggles to like stick with things, that they maybe get disheartened and give up too quickly. The last two books I want to share with you today is this one here, which is by Ash, Oak and Thorn by Melissa Harrison. So this is actually my book. So Lucy gave this book to me a few years ago now, not realizing that it was a children's book, and I love it anyway. So I've read it to myself, I've read it to my daughter. But this is about these little folk, so these guys here, and they go on this big adventure to kind of save their own kind. And it's a beautiful story full of environmental themes, lots of nature and friendship themes. Yeah, it's just a really sweet story. I'm sure it's one that we'll pick up again. And then the last book that I wanted to share with you is one that we'll be reading next, and one that I have read many times before to myself, and this is Pierre Burton's The Secret World of Og. So Pierre Burton is a famous Canadian author, and he co-wrote this actually with, it was illustrated by Patsy Burton, which was his daughter. And this is an adventure story about these children who end up finding out that there's this secret world of Og underneath their playhouse, and they have to go and rescue the boy and the cat. And it's such a fun story, and there's illustrations basically on every page, so it's quite engaging in that sense. And I just remember really liking this book. I discovered it when I was an older child, read it to myself, and then picked up a copy when I moved to the UK, read it again to myself, and then I will be reading it to my daughters soon. So yeah, those are 10 book recommendations for you of perhaps like lesser known children's books, and quite a few of them are children's books with sort of like an educational spin on them. So I hope this is helpful for you if you've got a little one in your life, whether you're a parent, soon to be parent, cool aunt or uncle or family friend, whatever, or an educator. They are some books that I can recommend are tried and tested in our household. So yeah, I haven't done my usual like 3 prompt words because I don't think that necessarily works with children's books, but I hope that what I've had to say about all of these books gives you some sort of indication about why I rate them so highly. So yes, that leaves me to say that I hope you're all doing really well. I hope that you're enjoying whatever it is you're reading. If you're reading a children's book that you'd like to recommend to me, please let me know in the comments below. And otherwise, I will see you soon with a new video. Take care. Bye.